All right, today's thing of the day. So, this is something that I learned the hard way several years ago, and it popped up again recently with one of our project managers in one of their mastermind groups. So, if anybody out there is not in a mastermind group, if you're running a business and you're not in a mastermind group, I highly, highly recommend it. It's a group of peers and people that do similar kinds of things that all share their experiences and hold you accountable and help you grow your business. But this is something that happened recently for one of my project managers, is that she got started in her mastermind group, and it was her first mastermind group with this particular group. And she was showing the organization of the structure, the structure of the organization. And immediately she got in talking about revenue and profit and loss, et cetera, for each one of these different groups, each one of the different entities within our organization. One guy in the group and a couple other people in the group immediately jumped in and were like, no, you're messing it all up. Like, this is not going to work. This is not the way to do things. You're not doing things the right way. And she got really, really, really disheartened. She was upset. She came to talk to me. She was like, oh my God, this is, we're totally screwing the whole thing up. And what I told her was something that I had learned in consulting years and years and years ago, is that if you're looking at a business that's 20 years old, that's running multiple different sub-organizations, there is no possible way you can understand what that business does, what happened, how the business operates, etc. in 1 hour. It's not possible. You can't do it. And if you think that you're doing it, then you're doing it wrong. So, there are obvious things that you can look and be like, why is this a thing? And this is, by the way, this is the mistake that I made years ago, in that I would go into a business and I would take a look and be like, oh, you're doing all this stuff wrong. And there were a few times where I got totally schooled. Like, schooled so hard, I looked like an idiot because I came in making recommendations and I was completely wrong. I had no idea what I was talking about. And after that, what I did is I always started off by asking questions. If I saw a problem, rather than saying you're doing it wrong, I now come in and I say, okay, tell me about this thing. Tell me the story behind this thing. How did this thing get to be like this? Why are you doing it like this? Go through all of this with me. And then after I have a really clear, thorough understanding of the business and holistically what's going on, then I make recommendations. But if I don't have all that understanding, if I start just making recommendations, I'm going to look like an idiot. And I don't want to say that the people that were in her mastermind group were idiots, because that's not the case at all. They're smart people. But they didn't have a background in consulting. And so after I sat down and we worked through the what the people had recommended, she was like, oh, you're right. Yeah, I just didn't explain it properly. I did not do a good job of going through this with them to help them understand this. But also, neither did they ask the questions. So, moral of the story. If you're taking on a consulting gig, and that can be web and app development, that can be freelance, that can be creative, that can be all sorts of things. You're helping somebody solve a problem. You're basically a consultant. Start off by asking questions. Understand the situation as thoroughly as possible before moving on to make recommendations. Otherwise, you're going to get schooled and you're going to look like an idiot. So that's today's lesson. I hope this is helpful, and have a great day. Bye.